get the slides of this conversation from Kevin, and you're also going to get 3 toolkits. One is flexible membership options. So it talks about all the things all the things I have are now on a printed piece of paper for your club to really evaluate membership models. New clubs, it's for you and your district to think about new clubs that can be helpful for you. One is districts that we're starting to work at, districts that have really strong RILA programs it's a golden opportunity for now these people when they're young adults to get your past RILA into a new innovative club model. The other you're going to get, the third toolkit, is an unconscious bias meeting. It's from our diversity and inclusion series. It gives you the framework as a Rotary Club to have your own conversation about unconscious bias, how you should set up the meeting, how you would structure it, inclusion icebreakers, your TED Talk speaker options. It's all a framework for you guys to have a conversation with each other. So it's something I would challenge you guys to try out and then let me know how it goes.
I will send out all the PowerPoints, everything that Cecily sent us, the presentation that we have today. It is recording again. Apparently when you click the record, when you set up the meeting, it doesn't always work. But Mr. DeFurio, do we have any other questions that you saw pop up in here that we can ask Cecily while we have a couple minutes?
Well, Cecily answered the first one, which is if she would share her deck. So Cecily, thank you for that.
No problem.
Right now, I do not see any additional questions.
Anybody else have anything? You can unmute and mention something. All right, Cecily?
I have a question.
Yes, Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, so Cecily, would you be willing to do this presentation to individual clubs?
Sure. Schedule, schedule permitting, absolutely.
Okay.
And if something, then before we talk about, we'll get a little more understanding of how your club operates, and so then can kind of tailor the talk to looking at the existing club structure.
Great.
So absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Brian. I don't have a question so much as a comment. Cecily, I really appreciate your perspective. It's always good to get sort of a fresh perspective on these things, and very insightful presentation and very thought-provoking. So thank you. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for joining us. This has been really valuable. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I did see a question about the trial membership. So the trial membership is listed in that toolkit of membership options. And we have some success stories actually on that handout. So the name, it's a New Jersey Rotary Club. The name escapes me at the moment, but it will be on the handout that you're going to get from Kevin. So you can contact the president, but it links to a Rotary Voices article. So you can read the full blog post of the story of their membership options of what they tried. I think they charge $99 for a year of membership. The way their lunch club worked with the meeting, it worked. They didn't lose a lot of money in having a new member for $100. And it was an easy sell for people because it was a lower cost, and it gave people an opportunity to really try out Rotary. As long as you are fair in how you approach any kind of membership variation, and it applies to everyone, all partners and spouses. Anyone can do a trial membership. A young professional membership is good for anyone up to a certain age. Service opportunities, the dues reduced to X, no meeting fees. Whatever it is all works as long as you apply it evenly. You can make any tweaks in your normal membership to create a new membership style, and that's okay. Sometimes clubs get really hesitant about reducing dues and meeting fees, but if you look at it, what do you gain in return? You might gain a valuable, engaged, participating member of your club. And if that means reducing the dues to get a young professional or the person who does the hands-on service, which is great for retirees who may not be able to afford the same meeting fees but want to do hands-on, you get new engaged Rotarians. So that's why we want you to think outside the box about what works for your club.
Cecily, it's Chris Potter. I'm an assistant governor.
I have a
Yes.
question. I've had, and I won't mention what club, but I've had clubs where they talked about including a particular young professional, but that professional didn't have, the money for the dues, and there was talk about reducing the dues for that person, and the board pretty much said, well, no, it's not fair to everybody if somebody's paying less. There was some talk about there was an offer on the table for one of the other members to pay for his membership outright, and that was rejected as well. I mean, how do you deal with members of the club who feel like it's their business that somebody else is paying less money than they are?
Well, that's when you kind of talk about the value proposition of what new people can bring into Rotary. There is going to be, I believe, an award that's Rotary's creating that values volunteer service. The way we get Paul Harris's is, and I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, but the way we get Paul Harris's for donations to the foundation, Rotary is creating an award that maybe the Donald McCrae Award, that volunteers hours of community service logged. The point is there's a value to hands-on community service that might mean waive your meeting fees. Like, they pay as they go. They don't get free food, but
Right.
They don't have to pay prepaid. Or you're reducing your dues. And there is a way to look at how that is calculated. And I can send Kevin information to pass on to you. The idea is X hours of community service committed to for a year mean your dues are reduced by Y dollars. There is a value to the service. Rotary is aging. I think the average age is 70 something. Getting new young professionals into your Rotary Club, there is a value to that. And by saying we are willing to foster young leadership, we're supposed to be mentors. We're supposed to be leaders, and we are supposed to build future leaders. That's part of our job as Rotarians too. So by offering a young professional membership policy, not in a case-by-case basis, but if that works for your club, then reducing dues for a certain number of years for young professionals brings new people in. Wouldn't that be great to have new young people in your club who are enthusiastic about service, who may understand technology better than older Rotarians? I don't want to generalize, but it's possible. Who may have better social media connections. There is a value to that. So it's different things work for different people. My club, most of our members are 30 something. So we're not going to have a junior membership because that's not going to work. But we are creating a partner membership because our single members are getting married. So we now have a partner membership to bring in spouses or partners who may be interested.
Cecily, a couple of questions in the chat box. First one was, could someone be a member of multiple clubs, especially since there are project-specific clubs?
No, you can only be a Rotarian in one club. However, you can visit any club anywhere, and you can participate in any club anywhere. I mean, you do the polite thing. You don't just randomly show up at someone's meeting, but that's one of the cool things about Rotary. My club, we are back in the day, before March, we used to meet in Times Square for dinner meetings. So we're fortunate to get a lot of international Rotarians who visit our club. And often we get occasional Rotary VIPs who pop in. We had Frank Devlin show up for a members only meeting, which is an interesting stress for our incoming president. But you can be a member of your Rotary Club and participate in a lot of others, such as the Passport Club. And props, I saw the Passport in Westchester, some of you mentioned in the comments. A Passport Club is that idea that you're creating a framework to be a Rotarian that has the main tie to your Passport Club, but that Passport Club is structured and priced and planned to allow you guys to visit all sorts of other clubs and be involved actively in other projects.
And Cecily, last question. From your experience, how have you seen some of the reduced dues calculated?
The biggest thing that makes Rotary expensive are the meeting fees, the meals. So when you are looking at alternative membership models, especially if you're looking to bring in young professionals or work with seasonal snowbirds or service projects, do away with mandatory meeting fees. Pay as you go if people show up. Put away the attendance requirements. There are no Rotary police. There are no Rotary required attendance rules. Clubs decide for themselves. Okay, Kevin's Rotary police, but other than that, nobody else, so he won't know. There are no attendance requirements. So you decide.
Fireman.
I'm sorry? There are no Rotary attendance requirements. Your club decides attendance requirements. And what I encourage clubs to think about is engagement, not attendance. My Rotary Club has a busy father and busy UN, the United Nations employee who can't make a lot of our meetings, but he does our website. He gets it updated and keeps it running. That is club service. You could have people doing your social media posts who may not make all your meetings. So that idea of you may track your attendance, but don't require it. So when you loosen your requirements on meeting fees, on attendance, and be willing to look at your dues at reducing it to gain something else. You know, if you're say you reduce your dues by 100, I don't know, different club dues vary. Say you reduce your club dues by, instead of 150, it's 75. But you're gaining a young professional who's now might be interested in Rotary, who is now an active member of your club. Isn't that worth $75? That's the equation you talk about with people. It's not just money, and money isn't the most important thing. If we're trying to grow Rotary, we look at all of the value that people can bring to the club.
Thank you, Cecily. That is a perfect segue on growing Rotary. Cecily, being an assistant Rotary coordinator and with the ICA group, will continue to be a resource to the zone. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you being with us here today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And as one of the innovative club advocates, if your districts has a thought for new clubs, please reach out to us. Your particular ARC, Herb Klotz, is also the new club guru and knows a lot. But I'm here if your club has any ideas on new clubs or any potential leads and needs help getting it started. Please reach out to me because that's what I'm here for.
Thanks,
Cecily, thank you very much for joining us today. I truly appreciate you joining and speaking to us. That was fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thank you.